Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be discussing what I thought of the latest and very good episode of Invincible, which dropped yesterday on Amazon Prime. I enjoyed it recently and I wanted to share my thoughts and feelings and overall reaction to it with you guys. Now, before I get into all of that, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review. So if you're not caught up on Invincible by the latest episode, which is episode 5 of season 3, you don't want to keep watching or listening, as I will be discussing spoilers. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. First and foremost, this episode kind of felt like a filler episode. And granted, not every episode is going to be like the previous episode, episode 4, which was outstanding and probably my favorite episode of the season, if not of the series. But for me, the problem I had with this episode is that they were referring characters and events from, I guess, the very first season, which I do not remember for the life of me. I don't remember Titan or Machine Head or The Order or Master Liu or Mr. Liu, whatever his name is. I don't remember any of those characters, and it's probably because it has been so damn long since I watched the first season. So when they start exploring the storyline and this power struggle between Mr. Liu and Titan, and then this whole multi-Paul situation, I'm like, who the hell are these guys, and how are they relevant to Invincible and the heroes and whatnot? And then it became clearer as the episode went along. I just wish I had remembered who the hell these characters were prior to this episode. Part of me feels like I should re-watch season 1 just in case they make any more obscure references, because I could not remember Machine Head or Titan or Isotope for the life of me. But you know what? The episode was pretty crystal clear about who these characters were in relation to each other and the conflict amongst them and whatnot. So it became pretty clear. I guess this episode was also meant to show us that when they're not dealing with world-ending threats or the pending looming threat of the Viltrumite invasion, which nobody but Mark seems to know about and isn't doing much of anything about, and how the relationship between Mark and the GDA is pretty much sizzled out. I guess it's important for us to see what goes on in Mark's day-to-day life, trying to balance life as a superhero and as an older brother and a son. And this episode was a pretty good reflection of that. We see Oliver is growing up. It's pretty funny what he did to the bullies there. At first I thought he was going to obliterate them or beat them to death, but pulling down their pants was equally humiliating or good too. And it's nice that he's making friends with other kids, especially kids who seem to accept him for who he is, and they could care less if he's purple. They seem to like him for who he is, which is great. So, and then this episode also showed us, you know, Mark and Eve trying to take things forward, move things forward in their relationship, thinking about getting an apartment together, realizing how expensive it is, and then realizing how maybe they are moving too fast and whatnot. So, you know, I guess this episode was just to show us just what life is like for Mark and Eve when things aren't so batshit crazy with villains and heroes fighting each other and whatnot. And we got a glimpse of normalcy between Rex and Ray as well, which was cute, so that was nice. But this episode was not without violence or gore. It had plenty of that. That might have been the grossest jailbreak I have ever seen, when Multi-Paul in the opening of this episode was duplicating himself basically to death in his prison cell, and sacrificed all of his copies in order for himself to escape, as temporary as it was. That was a pretty gruesome way to do it, and a creative way. So hats off to whomever came up with that in the writer's room, because that was nasty and awesome. But yeah, I still liked this episode all the same. Wasn't the best episode. It wasn't terrible either, but it was still enjoyable for what it was. And it still had plenty of exciting moments and great character stuff in it and whatnot, and lots of action. Machine Head is great. I can't remember the actor's name who plays him, but he plays a great bad guy. And Machine Head is a fun character, and it'll be interesting to see if he poses any more of a bigger threat to Mark or Titan or the rest of the city or the world anytime soon. But Who knows? But, I still enjoyed this episode for what it was. And it was kind of nice to get a break from what's going on with the GDA, what's going on with Alan and Omni-Man, and just what's going on with the Guardians as well. So again, this episode was a good way to remind us that, hey, here are the things happening in Mark's life that aren't necessarily just heroes and villains fighting each other. So this was a good episode to remind us of that. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. What did you think of it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Invincible drops new episodes every Thursday on Amazon Prime. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks again for watching and stopping by. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.